Welcome. I am Sister Who. With me today I have my friend Crystal Gray, who is a trans advocate and also a transgender woman. Which I suppose, just to start out, I think it's high time the human race start thinking in broader categories than just male and female. That we have male, we have female, we have transgender women, we have transgender men. There's at least 4 there. I actually grew up Catholic as well, and so for me in grade school there was always the sense of 4 genders: man, woman, priest, and nun, and they weren't the same. Priest was not a man and nun was not a woman. They were different because they were defined by their spiritual service, not by their physical bodies. Well, maybe that's something that applies to trans people as well. It's who you are on the inside. What we wanted to talk about today, though, because we did a show on another occasion about when do I get to just be me. Mm-hmm. What I'd like to talk about today is some of the reasons why it's not safe to be me. And that's not only a trans issue, but it's especially a trans issue. To what extent all of us together create a safe world so that a woman can be a woman, a trans person can be a trans person, a gay person can be a gay person, and a minority can be a minority without worrying about somebody attacking them on the way home.
Well, with the trans community, one of the things is that they really have to be self-confident. Mm-hmm. And when you're self-confident, you have more of an ability to have people not look at you, not realize that maybe you've transitioned from one gender to the other. And that helps actually create a safe space for you in your own world.
It seems like a relatively simplistic answer, but is that a recommendation then that every trans person should consider taking a martial arts course?
Self-defense is actually a good thing that I believe for the transgender community. However,
but the reason I say martial arts is because I've heard from a lot of people that it also deals with issues of self-discipline and self-image.
That would be up to the individual whether they'd want to do that or not. During the transitional process, though, whether it's male to female or female to male, we do have different physical changes that are going to affect the way we do things. Mm-hmm. Me, myself, going from male to female, I've noticed that I don't have the strength I used to. Okay. And so that may also go ahead and hinder that. Or it may be also sometimes in transition surgeries. Sometimes things happen to where your body is just not the same as it used to be and you don't have that strength there.
Which in martial arts isn't really so much of an issue.
Right.
Because you learn postures and positions and moves that allow you to continue to be an empowered person. You're just using a different kind of strength than you used before.
Well, like I said, it all depends on the individual because it depends on where they are empowered in their own lives. Mm-hmm. Whether they are accepting themselves or they're still struggling with their lives, or whether or not their physical changes now they think hinder them from being able to do that.
Mm. And I'm not trying to advocate for martial arts programs. I'm just thinking of that as a common one that if it produces the discipline that they describe and if it produces the self-defensive capabilities it describes, would allow you to have more confidence wherever you go, to feel safer even in dangerous situations?
Confidence really comes from within, and also in the transitional process, having the right counselor, psychiatrist makes a huge difference in your transitional process. Okay. I have actually seen transgender individuals transition without a therapist, without a psychologist. And you can notice the difference in their confidence and the way they look at things in the world. And that's actually when I have transgender individuals come to me who are thinking about transitioning or starting their transition. That's the one thing I tell them. You need to have somebody to talk to, somebody to help guide you through this, and somebody to help you with your confidence level, because that's going to make a very huge difference. Of course, your environment's going to make a difference too. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to go to, say, the south side of Chicago and not have a heightened alert.
Yeah.
Okay? Or have fear in me.
Still
oh, yes.
prevails. But is there anything you noticed in common between the various examples or individuals of people who have transitioned without counseling?
Definitely, and one of the things that I have noticed is they don't have I don't feel they have as much confidence in themselves. That's not always true. Everybody's individual. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Yeah, we're speaking in generalities,
but,
not
right.
to pigeonhole anybody, but just to say what to watch out for.
But when you don't have that that guidance and that support system, you do notice a little more nervousness and anxiety in the individual.
In general.
In general, yeah.
So, for such a person, how do you determine whether you have found the right counselor or not?
Well, there are now counselors that are well known that can be found through different organizations that specifically work with transgender individuals.
Okay.